Hey guys, Resistance Chicks, Leah Michelle back at you. This is segment number 4. We've got a lot of news for you guys. January 19th, 2017.
Inauguration is happening right now. I mean, tomorrow, things are getting ready. There's a lot of news. There's a march happening. 21st.
Marching, we will go.
Marching. Women want to march, and if you saw our other video on the women's march, you know they're marching for the LBGB Cubas. It's a hashtag, and it just keeps going longer and longer. And
right, they're going to have every letter of the alphabet in there pretty soon.
But in their inclusivity, they are excluding people who try to be part of this march. According to its new platform that's just released by the Women's March, women only stands for women who agree with us.
Right.
Which happens to be their pro-abortion stance.
Right. So you're not a woman and you can't march for women and you can't march for women's rights unless you believe in killing little women in wombs.
They were marching to send a bold message that women's rights are human rights, except according to the March platform and its behavior towards the pro-life groups like Student for Life, women does not include all women.
Apparently.
According to the Washington Post hype, more than 100,000 will attend, and I think it's going to be pretty big, but I don't think that people understand what they're actually going to what their focus is.
Right.
And they haven't really come out with a focus yet, but
it's just a bunch of women trying to get together to march, and so we actually know some people that are going, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but if you're excluding certain women...
Exactly. So they didn't really go this far, but now they're requiring that if you wanted to join their march, you have to be pro-choice. Their primary areas of focus that if you wanted to join, there's options that your primary focus would be like reproductive justice. Sure, the march boasted the aid of abortion organizations like Planned Parenthood and NARAL from the start, but the website also claimed we join in diversity by defending the most marginalized among us.
As defending
all of us. That vagueness is no more. On Thursday, the march quietly released, that was today, a unity principles document clarifying diversity does not include diversity of thought, and that defending the most marginalized does not include the unborn.
Right.
Recognizing that women have intersecting identities and are therefore impacted by a multitude of social justice and human rights. Somebody want to play the victim card here?
Yeah.
The platform document read, we have outlined a representative vision for a government that is based on the principles of liberty and justice for all. One of the many principles the document listed was reproductive rights. The march's stance not only championed abortion, but also appeared to oppose the recent push to defund Planned Parenthood. Now, I'm going to get back to this article, but I want to show you the woman here. This is the woman, this is a Muslim woman who is called, let's see, to begin this his segment, MSNBC Richard Louis described the Women's March as an event that started out as a rallying cry for women to show their solidarity against Trump. And then before turning to Linda Sarsour, the national co-chair of the Women's March on Washington for more information. I want to play what she says.
January 21st, what's the first thing you want either President Trump at that time or the Senate or, as you were mentioning, the House to do for all of these marchers? Because you have a sense of what the pulse is from the marchers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, hands off the Affordable Care Act. We need our health insurance. Hands off Planned Parenthood and our reproductive rights. Hands off Muslims, hands off the undocumented. Those are really our top messaging lines. Hands off our Native American sisters and brothers. You will see a plethora of speakers reflecting all the progressive and social justice issues in this country. It's, again, one of the most intersectional movements and marches that you have ever seen in U.S. history.
Hands off our health care. Hands off of Planned Parenthood, as if people are going to attack Planned Parenthood. All that they're doing is saying, you know what? We're not going to fund a business that sells baby parts.
Now, I went in a little Google search just to make sure. This is a woman who is obviously Muslim. Now,
hands off Muslims.
here's the thing.
She said.
She is the co-chair of this march, and it's pushing reproductive rights. But she's a daggone Muslim. You know what? If she wants to take birth control, her husband has to sign off on it. And I gotta tell you what, abortion in Islam is haram. You cannot get no abortion in Islam. Okay, now unless the mother's life is in danger.
Right.
But you can't get no abortion. You can't take your 16-year-old, got her pregnant. And that's what
No,
it's all about.
because under Islam, if you're pregnant out of wedlock, they ain't just killing your baby, they gonna kill you too.
Exactly. So I wanted to. This is about Planned Parenthood, and I'm going to get back to how they are ostracizing. But
This is the biggest oxymoron ever.
That's what just was throwing me. Okay, throwing me for a loop, and I have some answers because you guys might not know this, but in Iran there was a revolution in 1979. Now I want to show you. I'm going to kind of skip through this, but I think I want to play this one first. Maybe this one. No. Hang on. Let me.
Bear with us.
Yeah. I must have closed it out. All right. So I want to play for you this video here. This is women in Iran before the revolution. Normal, Western, okay? They held jobs, they were allowed to live, they played sports, they wore skirts, they wore bikinis.
Do you guys realize just how, like, not far 1975 was from now? This is only 2017. 1979.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna mute that.
My mom graduated in 1978. You guys, this was not that long ago.
So this is before and after, but I want to show you this video of after. This is women in the streets who, in these older videos of the 70s, these are women protesting. This was ironic to me because I feel like this is the Women's March. This is the Women's March that they should be having. It's ironic that women can't do this march in Iran for their rights.
Right.
But they got a Muslim woman who can't even take birth control without her husband's permission, but she wants Americans to foot the bill for it and to fund Planned Parenthood with abortion, which you ain't even allowed to have no abortion in Islam. And these are the real women having real marches. I mean, violence against them over and over and over again. And
this is a women's march that we could get behind.
Amen, preacher sister. Now, there's also a women's march I could get behind too. Is this woman? I'm going to skip through some of her. These are the top 10 things that a woman can't do in Iran that a man can.
Back to another episode of the Top 10 brought to you by the Glass Off Gang. What we do here is we bring you the top 10 facts of the Islamic Republic of Iran. So anything I mention, it's allowed for a man to do, but under no circumstances allowed for a woman to do. However, don't get me wrong, because some of my fellow Iranian women are fighting back, and I will show you footage. Our number 10, actually going to sport a stadium is not.
You saw the
allowed
other
for
video, they
women.
could play sports.
So,
now they can't even
in
go to a
Islamic
sports
Republic,
stadium.
everyone, if you are a fan of any sport, and I don't know if you know or not, but soccer is a big thing in Iran. Stadium. Moving on to our number 9. In Islamic Republic of Iran, if you're a woman and you love to ride a motorcycle,
You
I'm
can't.
sorry, honey, because you can't.
You can't get a
That's
license.
you cannot do as a woman. Under no circumstances, you cannot show your hair or your body or even your body figure. Meaning you cannot wear something that's tight enough that somebody can guess how your body looks like. So you basically have to
So
cover
why are the
everything
women marching
except
against
your
that?
face and your hand. But as I said, they're not doing it. They know the
they're fighting
consequences.
back a
But
little
they're
bit.
very fashionable, actually. On our number 7, actually something I hated.
This is
And that is
interesting.
that as a woman, you're not allowed to sing. Either publicly
sing in public.
or just a release of album, anything.
You
As a
can't
woman,
be a
you
singer.
cannot be heard singing.
She
but you
plays a
cannot.
little singing.
And that is again, as a woman, you're not allowed to dance.
Obviously, yeah.
I get this. Men can do all of this. What do you think? So, in the Islamic Republic of Iran, if you're a woman and you like to go get yourself a passport,
This
well,
is
you
crazy.
can't. You have to have your father, brother, husband, basically the man figure in your life, to sign a release paper. Then you can take that in, which is called the authorization letter, and get your passport. Now,
at
for
this.
whatever reason, if you manage to get your passport and then decide to travel outside of country, again, you can't do that on your own. When you're going to travel, you need that authorization
But we're
letter
marching on
from the
Washington
man
for our
figure of your
LGBTQ rights.
life
Right.
to tell the
And
government
hands off
that
Muslims
he's okay with you leaving.
That have
Okay,
these
ready?
rules.
Moving on to our number 4.
hands off of them.
This one is really unfair, but here's what it is. As a woman,
You can't get a divorce. There's a bunch of others that I don't want to go through. You can't get a divorce without. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So when we're talking about women's rights,
Right.
and there's a Muslim as a co-chair of a women's march on Washington,
Yeah.
I'm finding it ironic.
Right.
I'm finding it a little bit crazy. So then I got this epiphany, and I realized why she's a Muslim and she's supporting Planned Parenthood, and why Planned Parenthood is supporting it. Because Muslims want to take over the world. Now watch this. If they get Americans and Europeans to stop having kids, they own the world.
Do you guys realize before you play this, hang on,
that is so smart.
Muslims
Kill
have
your
come
kids, the
over
Americans.
into America and are having children at record numbers. So of course they're going to be wanting Planned Parenthood, whose biggest gain is in getting people not to have children. They want to outnumber us, and they're actually doing this in the UK right now.
I got the video. Watch, I'm going to skip through some of it, but
There
yeah.
must be a fertility rate of 2.11 children per family.
If you want to
With
maintain your
anything less,
culture.
but culture will decline. Historically, no culture has ever reversed a 1.9 fertility rate. A rate of 1.3, impossible to reverse. Because it would take 80 to 100 years to correct itself. And there is no economic model that can sustain a culture during that time. Have one child, and he
So you
granted
get
have
that.
2
You
million
can watch
adults
this, but-
enter the workforce in 2026. The fertility rate in France was 1.8. England, 1.6. Greece, 1.3. Across the entire European Union of 31 countries, the fertility is a mere 1.38. Europe, as we know it, will cease to exist.
And how long did they say? We skipped over that. Did you remember what it said? How many years
Of
before it
all
will cease to
population
exist?
growth in
80
Europe
to
since
100.
1990, 90% has been Islamic immigration. France, 1.8 children per family. Muslims, 8.1. In some
Americans,
Guys,
Europeans,
come
they
on.
want you to take your birth
Regions of the
control.
world.
They want
There
Planned
are now
Parenthood in
more
America.
mosques.
The Muslim
Yes!
group.
You guys need to
30%
wake
of
up.
children ages 20 and younger.
This is the, I
are
mean, they
Islamic.
could bomb and kill
In the larger
Americans.
cities,
Or they could
such as
support Planned
Nice,
Parenthood.
Marseille,
Just have
and
you kill all
Paris,
your babies.
That
Sure.
number has grown.
And make sure
to
you're on birth control so you don't
45%.
have any more children.
By 2027, 1 in 5 Frenchmen will be Muslim. In just 39 years, France will be an Islamic republic.
Wow.
In the last 30 years, the Muslim population of Great Britain rose from
Remember,
82,000
France was behind the
to
Paris
2.5 million,
peace
a
resolution.
30-fold increase.
Against
There are
Israel.
over 1,000 mosques, many of them former churches. In the Netherlands, 50% of all newborns are Muslim. And in only 15 years, half of the population of the Netherlands will be Muslim.
They're taking over the world. You guys.
That's 1 out of 5 Russians. 40% of the entire Russian army will be Islamic in just a few short years.
I think we get the idea.
Currently in Belgium,
So,
You guys.
you get the idea. Now, back to they're not inclusive of all women and women's real rights, and that's
Right.
my point.
Exactly.
One of my favorite.
That was a rabbit trail. It was fascinating, by the way.
It actually kind of comes together. I mean, it's the whole point to show why the Women's March is pushing it.
Sure.
Satanic, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Muslims are satanic. I want you to come to know Jesus.
Absolutely.
The terrorism and all this, I mean, it's against Christ. It's against Jesus. And
There is an agenda
right.
that they're pushing around the entire world.
Exactly. I love Abby Johnson. You can Google her. Who is Abby Johnson? Facebook or Abby Johnson, pro-woman, pro-child, pro-life.
She actually used to work for Planned Parenthood.
Right.
And she's come out to expose them.
Exactly. She became Catholic, and the Lord transformed her heart.
Yeah.
So I do pray and she has a outreach to people to come out of Planned
Absolutely,
Parenthood, and
yeah.
she's doing it. It's so
It's amazing. Her
And I
ministry is well
love
worth
you, Abby,
supporting.
if you're watching my video. But she asked to join, to be a partner with the Women's March. She got a call stating that they would not approve. Then later on, the day they were approved and were listed on the website, they were thrilled. They want to be a voice for life and true empowerment of women in the midst of the march. And that is very heavily promoted by abortion supporting groups. Since she woke up this morning, I think it was yesterday, to unfortunately find we had once again been denied partnership and have been removed from the website. It is sad that the supposed March for Women is willing to exclude those who are pro-life. In particular, ATTWN has firsthand knowledge concerning the struggles women face, and then there were none, when walking through the doors in the abortion industry. To silence our experience is detrimental to women and other rights. So they were on there. They've been taken off, and this whole Women's March, it boggles my mind, because as you see, it's not
just a march for women.
It
Sounds like it's just women marching on Washington.
Right.
It's not, because I guarantee you, if Leah and I went to show up and Resistance Chicks was there, they wouldn't let us on the list either.
With pro-life shirts and things like that to
Right.
represent the unborn. So you've got this huge list of celebrities. I mean, Cher, Scarlett Johansson, people I don't know, Julianne Moore, Deborah Messing, Katy Perry, the list
Surprise.
goes on. And they want to be there, and they don't understand what women's rights really is, because if you understood what was going on in Iran,
Right.
what's going on in these Muslim countries,
Right.
that you would be over there promoting women's rights.
Real women's rights.
But this is a joke, and it is a slap in the face to real women who are experiencing real persecution.
Absolutely.
I mean, you just saw a girl, Muslim, who she lied, and she said she was attacked for being a Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
She brought shame to her family, and her parents shaved her head.
Right.
She's an adult.
Yeah.
But nobody's fighting for her rights.
Exactly.
For somebody to take her, forcibly shave her head.
Right.
I mean, that happens every day. You know, women are brutally,
Beaten.
yeah.
They literally don't, they're treated like children, yet children that can be physically abused under their religion.
Well, one of the other things that I didn't get to in that other lady's video was she said that a woman is not counted as a full person, and so she witnesses a crime. I think there needs to be 2 women, because her word against a man doesn't count
Right.
in court.
And this is what boggles my mind when, like Leah just said, these women are showing up to Washington and they're fighting for nothing of any validity. Like, she's like, hands off our, healthcare plan, hands off Planned Parenthood, hands off Muslims. It's like, what? Those don't even, in America, we really don't have women's rights issues anymore. You guys, there aren't any women's rights issues. Women are not being oppressed in America. Okay,
They're oppressing everyone else.
Exactly.
The daggone
there's always the
go
exception
home.
to every rule.
Bake
obviously.
in the kitchen already.
Come on, guys. And we're actually kind of pro stay-at-home moms and you know what I mean? But in America, we don't have that. We don't have these women, we don't have June Cleaver that's dressed in her apron. You're not coming home and you got to look good for your husband. We don't have that here. And even then, they had it better than what the women in Iran have. You guys, we have to wake up to what real women's rights are and who is being denied them. Let's go walk in Iran. Let's see
Try
how
to go
brave
walk
you
out
are
of
there.
without a headscarf.
Yeah, as your women's rights.
All of you. I just everybody.
I would like to send out a message to Julianne Moore and Katy Perry and Scarlett Johansson. I challenge you to show up to Iran and march there for women's rights.
For their rights
without
to
a
birth
headscarf.
control.
Exactly.
How about the rights to a passport?
Sure thing.
Rights to travel without the
Signature of your husband or your father.
right.
Let's talk about real women's rights.
This is Resistance Chicks.
Signing off, where it's not a conspiracy theory, if it's the truth. Follow us on Twitter, subscribe, leave comments. We love you guys. Leah Michelle, bid you adieu.
I was cold all alone, no place for home every day, so afraid, but you called my name.